What's happening, everybody? It's your man, damednydc. Monday night, you know what it is. Two mics up, back with a brand new guest. And man, I'm excited because, I'm talking with somebody that's really in the business. When I say in the business, I'm talking about the film industry, poet, author. I mean, so many caps. And, what makes it even better is right here in my own backyard, the DMV. We repping the DMV, y'all. Look, I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm not even going to draw out, tonight's intro. I'm just going to bring to the mic tonight's guest, the amazing, Pamela Vines. Pamela, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to sit here with us tonight. How are you doing this evening?
Damon, it is my pleasure to be here. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this right here, I've been looking forward to this one, ladies and gentlemen. Look, so Pamela, you're here in the DMV, and before we really dive in, I want to go ahead and put our toes in the water and really talk and get to know who Pamela Vines really is. Like, give us some background about who Pamela is.
All right, are you ready?
Okay. Look, I'm gonna sit back. Go ahead. Here you go.
All right. I think I am so many things. First and foremost, giving honor to God and my Savior Jesus Christ. I am a Christian and a devoted wife, mother, daughter, sister, loyal friend. I've also am a retired Army officer. I spent 20 years in the military and retired here in this area. It was my pleasure. It was an honor to do that service in the military.
We thank you. Thank you.
Let's see. I am an Amazon best-selling author in the fiction category.
Okay.
I published my first fiction novel back in December of 2015, but it's getting a resurgence. So because I'm getting ready to publish book 2 of the series.
Okay. Well, we can't go without what's book 1 of the series.
Oh, book 1 is a fiction novel called Born of Sin.
Okay.
Forthcoming book 2 is Born by Fire, and the third one will be The Last Born. So Born of Sin is the story of a young man who has to choose between the family that abandoned him and the street family that embraced him.
Okay, sounds like this right here might have, even though fiction, might have some truth in it. Anyone personally or
actually, no, it's completely made up. The vision, the story came to me. It was inspired by an incident in my hometown. Yes.
Okay.
But it's not based on any one particular person.
Okay. All right. I was about to say usually there's some type of spark or something in there that helps.
Well, that's another story. We're here to talk about Vines Film and Media.
Okay.
So yes.
Before we dive into that too, I also would like to know, when you're not, working on a video or a film project, what is it that Pamela likes to do? And if there's downtime, because it sounds like there's not, but in that moment that you find downtime, what is it that you enjoy doing?
Well, they say if you're passionate about something and you'll never work a day in your life. So I am truly a creative spirit. So anything that involves creating something gives me peace, whether it's crocheting, making earrings, any kind of craft. But I'm always reading or listening to an audiobook. So those 2 things are a constant in my life.
That's powerful. I like that because I find myself the same way. I'm a ravenous reader. I am I'll hear people say things, or it could be a random topic. And for whatever reason, this sparks thing because again, I don't know, creative thinker. Or I've always been I always drew outside the box. I never liked to draw in the box. And when I hear things, it challenges my mind. I don't know about that. I don't really believe that. So I love reading. I find the power in it. Once you educate yourself, your mind, you stretch yourself, no one can take that from you.
You got to. And that, knowledge is the key. And I saw a quote recently. I'm not sure who it was. I should have taken more of a note of it. But the key to staying young is always keeping an eye on what's ahead and always
Mm-hmm.
learning something, because it's the person that does not have any hope, does not dream, does not
Mm-hmm.
find a continuous learning. That's the person that's aging,
Mm.
regardless of your age.
Man, I love that. Yeah, I might have to find that one right there. We might have to post that somewhere. I like that. Ooh,
So
that just gave my
I'm
got my head
paraphrasing,
standing up. No,
but
you
I'll
paraphrase,
find it. I'm going to
but
find it for you.
that's a great one. So we want to transition to. We want to talk about filmmaking and getting started. But for you, Pamela, what was that spark, if you will, that really got you going, man, and really say for you that say, this is it. This is a part of my passion. This is who I am. Because I get the creative part, but was there something else, a aha moment for you that kind of got you on this journey?
Well, there's a bit of a story,
Okay.
because in the military, I was a public affairs officer. So
Okay.
I retired as a spokesperson at the Pentagon for Army Public Affairs. So throughout my military career, at least the latter half of it, I was in charge of soldiers who did types of media,
Mm-hmm.
either media training, community or community relations, reporters, photographers, videographers. I was, as if you will, the executive producer of everything they created. And I always
Mm-hmm.
envied what my soldiers were doing, because I wanted to be
Mm.
out there in the field. But, that wasn't my job. In the military, you have your lane, you stay in it. So it was fun for them to do. So after I retired, and then I worked for a good while in industry and in the defense as a defense contractor.
Mm-hmm.
I found that I missed it. I was doing strategic communications, but I really missed the creative aspect of
Right.
everything.
Right.
So I started my business, Troop Public Relations, as a crisis communications firm back in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
But again, because I had equipment, and because part of my business model was to train people using media training, using equipment, doing mock interviews so they would um, do better on camera interviews. I
Mm-hmm.
had the equipment, but I wasn't really successful in getting companies to realize that they needed media training for
Right.
themselves, for their teams. So the next networking event I went to, I just, on a whim, I stood up and introduced myself and said, I do videography. And I got a client that day. So,
Wow.
God bless that person that trusted me, because,
Yep.
that was 7 years ago. But,
Yep.
we've come a long way. And where the passion comes from, I think it's inbred in me.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up as, watching my dad and my uncle take pictures, and I'm old school, so I was around when the first video cameras came out for
Wow.
people to purchase. So my dad had one, and it was just such a mystery to figure out how that all worked. And I
Mm-hmm.
still thought it was too detailed, and not
Oh,
not as I wasn't
free.
capable to
Mm-hmm.
do it, because it
Mm-hmm.
just seemed it out of range. It just
Right.
seemed so complicated. But as I caught up with technology became more prevalent in the
Right.
economic environment, so everybody could buy and use. So I started to learn.
Wow.
I took classes at the community college, videography 1, 2, 3, photography 1 and 2, different classes on how to use the digital editing platforms, and there you
Here
have
we
it. I
here we
did
are.
a complete pivot for my business. Instead of Troop Public Relations, which I named in homage of service members,
Mm-hmm.
I did a pivot, and now we are doing business as Vines Film and Media.
So awesome. I mean, that
So around
just
the way and back, but
yeah, but it's really, as a business, it really sometimes it is full circle. When you start out and you bring everything back, I guess really to its center again. Uh, you know, but I want you, if you could take me, because for someone who's because I think we have a lot of talented young men and women out here that may not know, uh, like you talked about going to community college and things like that. You know, I don't want to. There's not a best route per
exactly.
se because everyone has their own path. But what are some key or core elements? Someone listening, may want to get into film. And what would you recommend that they look at when they first get started on their path?
The very first thing you need to do is get a camera, and you don't have to have an expensive one. It's as merely as picking up your cell phone and starting to film. So film everything you can, and find yourself a good digital editing platform that you're comfortable with or that you can learn. So that's the core foundation of what you need to do. And then as you become adept at what your style is and what you like, what your outcome of your products look like, then you can go and dive into education. So yes, there are the gamut of ways that you can educate yourself, and that is going to a full school, going to a full scale university to study film, or there's YouTube University, and then and in between there are the courses, online courses, in-person courses, and keeping up with people
Trends
that you
and
can network with, other people that you partner and learn from in your filmmaking, videography circles that will help you grow.
yeah, I like that because I'm hearing that into like, so once you kind of get yourself established, let's say, because you mentioned something about like your ideas and your concepts and your vision, right? And I'm curious to know from you, Pamela, like, one, I guess it's kind of a two-part question because there has to be a passion uh in filmmaking, I would think, and videography and things of that nature. But when you're working with the client, like, how does your passion come across, or how do we see it? I guess, is that through like concept for maybe talking to a client, or do you sometimes wake up and you have this aha moment that you have to write down and write out? Like, what does that look like from for you when you're dealing with a client or yourself starting with a project from concept to finish?
Yes. So for me, when I get a call from a client, or I go after a client and say, if I'm pitching a potential project to them,
Mm-hmm.
the client will I'll ask the client what they're looking for. I think the foundation is, what do you want to use the video for? And
Mm-hmm.
depending on the answer, the how they want to use that video depends on which video I'll recommend. So
Okay.
for instance, if the client wants to put a video on their website that is their signature video introducing their product or service, when people click on their site, they can see the audience can see what it's like to do business with them.
Mm.
So that kind of either a promotional video or a branding video will do. And then, for instance, what if they want to do a training series? They want to establish a class. Then that's another type of video that we'll do. But of all of that to say, it all starts with a script. So once we
Mm.
find out what kind of video they want and what they want to use it for, and how they want to attract various customers, then we put together a script. And either the client will have a script, or they come to us because we are skilled in script writing and
Okay. Okay.
script development.
Right.
And we put together using talking points and their vision on what it should look like. So once we have a script, and the script will also dictate how long the video will be. A lot of people call me and say, oh, I just want, it doesn't have to be long, 15 or 20 minutes. Well, heck, 15 and 20 minutes, that's a short film.
That's
That's a
long. Yeah.
documentary.
Yeah.
That's not a video.
Yeah. Yeah.
The video, it should be as a commercial. It should
Right.
be 15, 30, 45 seconds
Right.
to get your message across, because
Right.
attention spans are upwards of 4 to 6 seconds now,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
minimal.
It's minimum,
Yes.
really. You got to be able to hit them with it right away.
Yes. So
Hmm.
once we have the script, and the script will let us manage the time, then we put together for the client a storyboard. And what that entails of, if you think of a cartoon strip, it's a frame by frame pictorial of what your video will look like. And so
Mm.
everyone understands, even before we turn on the cameras, what the video will look like at the end product. So
The
we'll
end
look
product.
like frame number one will be introducing you. There's a, medium shot of your product, or wide shot of you walking up a mountain, whatever it may be. So once we do the storyboard and everybody's on board with what it's going to look like, and that's all in pre-production, then we know what type of equipment, how many cameras, the lighting, audio, booking the location, what's all involved, because again, it falls back with the original script.
Right.
And so once we do all that, then we start to film. We bring a team on board, and I have three core videographers that I work with. And they're subcontracted to me.
Right.
And we go out and film. I also have a gentleman who is certified to fly a drone for us. He's my drone pilot.
And these are all of the things that we don't even see that's really taking place in the background.
Yes. Everything, it's a lot of pre-production up front. And then if everything is done correctly and smoothly, then the filming and the editing and post-production goes by like that.
Man, I thank you for sharing, because I've always wanted to know, and I've always wanted to hear more from a professional. And I think it's just amazing, because it's amazing because we see so much the art of it, the art, the finished product.
Yes.
But to really hear, and as you're talking, I can visualize all of these pieces taking place. And this is the part that people don't think about, the time that it goes to build up this story, whether it be for, like you said, whether it be 15, 20, 35, 45 seconds, there's a whole lot of moving parts that go into this. And I mean, it's just amazing. It's mind blowing.
The words for the script are important. You have to economize. Every word has an important part. So every sentence should have a purpose.
Right.
So, and if a person shows up with a camera and says, "Let's go," you really just need to send him home, because you're not going to get a good project.
The work hasn't been done
exactly
to do the work is what I'm hearing. So look, I love it. Thank you, Pam. Look, ladies and gentlemen, look, we're going to take a short pause for the cause. We're going to come back. We're going to go into a mini commercial break. But this break is about thanking our sponsors. I want to take a moment to thank the sponsors of Two Mics Up for continuing to support us. Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring you this great content each and every Monday night. So look, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short pause for the cause. And we're going to come back and talk to Pamela Vines. We're going to go into detail about her work and her actual services that she provides as CEO, filmmaker, at Vine Films and Media. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're fresh back out the break. It's your man, damednydc, Two Mics Up. We're sitting here with, Pamela Hart Vines, the CEO, filmmaker at Vines Film and Media. She's been really giving us a lot of her background and really giving us a dope education on how to get into film and video. But now we want to dive in. And in this segment, I really want to talk more about your video services, and your process, because there's so much more that you have to offer through your production company. So I'm going to open up the floor, and I'm going to allow you, Pamela, just kind of take us through a journey of some of the services that anyone that's watching can reach out to you and really how they can link up with you, how they can work with you, and all your services.
Well, thank you. Well, foremost, Vines Film and Media, we are a veteran-owned, women-owned video production company. We provide video services for business owners, nonprofit, for-profit organizations that want to promote their products or services. So we have a core 6 services that we provide. The first one is video production, and that is, as we talked about earlier, the 3 phases for that: pre-production, production, and post-production. And that is actually coming out to, getting your script and so forth together, coming out to film, and then going back to edit. So that's the whole video production. Then we also offer digital editing. So digital editing is whereas you, say for instance, you go out and you buy a great camera and you want to film your own videos. You film your products, you film your services, you film your office around. And then you have all this footage and you don't know what to do with it. And it's just really not working out with you because that digital editing platform is a little bit more tough than you imagine. So then you send us the footage and we will make magic out of it. So we recently had a project with the Maryland Cannabis Administration. It's a new organization,
right?
And they wanted to put together a training series for what was it? A training university for people who wanted to get into the cannabis industry.
Oh, wow.
So they would have to watch all of this footage. And so they gave us 30 plus hours of footage where we put together in 10 modules. So something like that. That was a large project, but even for business owners who want to film and you have a lot of content, because content is king, but then it gets overwhelming. Send it our way to Vines Film and Media, and we will create your projects for you. So we have the video production, we have digital editing, and we also do live streaming. So with live streaming, that's where you, for instance, if you have a conference that you want to film, a conference that you want external people all over the world to participate in, we offer that service. So we can set up upwards of 4 different camera views and produce your stream going to either your YouTube channel or your website or to your Facebook Live page.
Okay.
So, and then it's not just one camera; it's the 4. So that's a really nice.
That is really nice.
And then we also do drone, so aerial video, aerial photography, and we have various packages for that. So sometimes people don't want, they want to include an aerial shot, but they don't have a drone. And if you're going to use a drone for professional commercial purposes, you must be licensed with the FAA. And even though you may have one, you can't use it because they will shut it down. But we are licensed and we are able to provide you that footage, either video or your imagery.
That's awesome.
And then, of course, we do the video. I said that we do the screenwriting and script writing, for instance. So if you're working on a project and you're not sure about where to go, we can help you think through your messages and put together a tight, concise video script.
Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not paying attention, so we have an in-house, because this is really soup to nuts, in-house, start to finish production company. And I'm just saying the truth here, and I'm excited about that because so many times we don't know where to go, and sometimes we get caught on bits and pieces. But to be able to have someone like yourself here in the DMV, people, reach out, and really that's what I love about my platform, being able to bring these stories so that people can really understand what the talent that we have here in our own backyard.
Thank you. Oh, and there was one more.
Yes.
The last one was short film production. And you just summed it up actually, because we have quality equipment. We for the past 7 years, I've been researching the best equipment, and I only use top of the line lenses and videography equipment. So if there were someone out there that wanted to create a short film, you wrote it yourself, you could use us to film it for you.
And that's what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, people, this right here, is a service, that can really help change and elevate, your brand, your vision, your mission, whatever it may be. So do not be afraid. Please take advantage of reaching out to Pamela, because we're going to make sure we get all her information before we go. But as we close it, because we're coming out on the backside, man, time can fly before you know it. But I always like to ask this question, because I'm always curious to know, in what way, do you see the positive impact of your work, Pam, when you're working with clients and to see their growth?
And I believe that the clients do grow after a session with us, because I do have a background in media training, and it's a lot. It takes a special kind of person to work with a client to ensure that they're comfortable in front of the camera. Because once our team comes in with all of the lights and microphones and 2 or 3 cameras set up, it can be intimidating. So to talk them off the ledge, make them comfortable, to assure them of their message points is one of our strong points. But it is a great process that we work with clients, and I think that is the key, to ensure that they're comfortable with their messaging, and that they have a great outcome after all.
And I can see it. I can see it. I can hear it. And I'm just honored and blessed to have had, the opportunity to sit with you this evening and share your story with our viewers and our audience. I would be remiss before we go. I have to ask you, as we close out, what's next for you? And please make sure you share any of your social media. We're going to make sure we put that in the show notes, because I want, everyone, please do not miss out on the opportunity of really connecting with, a winner, a true leader in our community, and a leader and a pioneer, and, the work that she's doing, in film. Because, she just, and I missed it, I want to talk about the PG County thing, but, we're running out of time. But, hopefully we'll come back. We'll do this again. Maybe we'll do this live and we can expand on this conversation, because there's a whole lot more that I wanted to ask, but we can only do so much in 30 minutes.
Yes. Well, what's next for us? We did attend. I was one of the presenters, one of the panelists at the Prince George's 2nd annual film festival. And I talked about how to raise money for your film. And that is my goal right now, is to produce a short film so I can be shown in the next year's film festival.
All right.
So we are getting our script finalized and getting ready to go into production on that.
I love it. So before we close, any social media information that you'd like to share? We want to make sure please go ahead.
Follow us on Instagram. It's under my name, at Pamela Hart Vines. You can follow us on our YouTube channel, Pamela Vines on YouTube, and or definitely email me. I'm an old school emailer. So video@vinesfilm.com.
All right. We're going to make sure that we get all of that, in the show notes. It's been an amazing conversation, Pamela. I thank you again so much.
My pleasure.
Like I said, we're going to have to reschedule it. So maybe we'll bring you back when we do one of our live segments. There's just so much more that we could really unpack and really dive into. You're awesome. You're amazing. Continued success to you in all that you do and all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Pleasure to be here.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Another great episode of 2 Mics Up, Season 5 on the Mogul Global TV Network, the #1 network for positive programming. Check me out Monday nights, 2 Mics Up, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on your Amazon or Roku TV devices, and online at www.themoguls.tv. You can follow 2 Mics Up online as well, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at 2 Mics Up. I'm your humble host. As always, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, I want to ask you to do a couple of things. Stay safe, stay blessed. Mics out. 007.